Hi everyone from a very gloomy, rainy London. I've been ploughing through my market research this week and I'm going to break it down into 5 main principles of who, what, where, why and how. So starting with what is it and what are the different types that you can do. So market research does what it says on the tin really, collecting information from the market that you've specifically chosen to talk to and get the needs and the preferences of that customer. And there are typically 6 main types. Number 1, secondary research. This is just research that's already been collated and collected by another company who might have been wanting that data before you. And a really great resource for this is a library. They've got so much information and normally they're free, so that's really great. Then we've got focus groups, which is getting a bunch of people together who are of the same target market and demographic and asking them lots of questions. You can also do this through an interview style one-on-one if you're looking to do a real deep dive into a particular subject. You can try experiments and trials. They're normally medical based, a bit like when Joey in Friends tries to find a twin and get paid for that. You can normally get paid pretty well. And then lastly, there's observations, where you set a group of people a task and watch their behaviour. This one is actually really good for building sites, websites, so you can see how people interact with the site, if they can find all the right information, and if they're clicking on the areas that you think that they're going to click on. We actually did this a bit for the Formula One rebrand when we were wireframing that out, and it proved to be super successful. This brings me on to why. Why do we actually need it? So we want to build our stats and our data so that we can actually understand the trends in the market rather than assume what those trends might be. For example, I asked a lot of questions around what people would be willing to pay for, which is actually not much when it comes to content. And then the other big reason for me was if I want to start pitching to investors later down the line, I've got concrete evidence to back up some of the choices that I've made, and it's informed a lot of my decisions. So who's your target market? It's really important to be super specific with your target audience. There's no point getting car mechanics to pitch in on a new makeup range for drag queens, for example. I've been watching way too much RuPaul. Because you need those tailored answers. So the more specific you can be with your questions up front, the more tailored your end product will be and therefore more successful. Remember, you're doing this to fill a gap in the market, so if there's no need for it, then people won't use it. So this brings me on to how did I do it? I did a survey on surveymonkey.com, which is a pretty popular one. You get a survey of up to 10 questions for free, which you can send round to your family and friends and ask them to fill out for you, put on LinkedIn, social media. But in the end, I actually ended up paying for 100 responses from all over the UK. You can set your age, demographic, gender. There's a whole bunch of filters on there so that you can really target the market that you want to speak to. And in the end, all the responses came through in 3 days, so it was really quick. And lastly, where can I go to find out about these different types of research? So obviously I've mentioned SurveyMonkey, that's a good one for surveys. And there's paidfocusgroup.co.uk, which obviously does focus groups. And if you want to take part in these yourself and get paid to do that, I really recommend take part in research.co.uk because they have a great range of options all over the UK. Another thing that you could do for interviews and observations is perhaps go to a co-working space and see if anyone there will give you a bit of time. I find that people who are in similar situations, small businesses or just starting out, are more willing to help you. So that could be a good option as well. Thanks for your time this week, guys. Like and subscribe on YouTube and go to lolagram_official to follow me on Instagram.